we are given as lawyers, we have a great privilege in that we have access to our system of justice and to the legal system. And this is something that is a great opportunity, and it's an honor to be able to have these skills and to be able to know the language, to be able to be a resource for others in this way. But we also have the capacity to encourage people as they're growing, as they're changing, and to see how those things intersect. I mean, sometimes the best solution for a problem may not be a legal solution, and to have a sense of awareness about where the law can be a tool and of value in a particular context, and where a legal solution may not be the only way of proceeding. And I guess you know, as a way I would explain that sometimes you know, sometimes the healing that has to occur in a situation is something that a victory in a trial is not going to satisfy that. I mean, sometimes people will feel that, well, if I can, you know, get this result, if I can have my day in court, I will, you know, have this you know, things will be changed and my life will be different. And I have seen some situations where it's been really clear to me that that's not going to satisfy, and sometimes it's painful for a person to have to face that. As a lawyer, it's our responsibility. It's my responsibility as a lawyer, I think, to help my client discern really whether a litigation approach is going to be something that will you know, satisfy what they're looking for. What I was speaking about earlier, the careful listening. It's if we can do that at the outset, and to really try to determine what the client is seeking. It may be that there needs to be an adversarial process that's involved. There may be something that can be more collaborative, though, and involving in the area of a family with you know, property to be settled and so forth. The relationships that exist in the family are very long, and it may be that you know, a brother and a sister might need to have some more conversation about what each of their goals are, rather than having assumptions about what might happen with ancestral property, for example. You know, that maybe there's a way that there can be a win-win approach, and rather than having a lot of conflict that will lead to irreparable damage, maybe there can be some reconciliation that can occur. I think that's one of the great challenges that we face, and a lot of that has to do with how we perceive ourselves and the roles that we see ourselves in, and whether we can be helpful and healing. And not everyone approaches the practice this way, but in my own view, I find it to be a critical part of the work that I do. And I think that the clients that choose to work with me appreciate that. In some circumstances, it's clear that there will be conflict. And if there is the willingness on the part of the individuals, the you know, the family members that may be involved, or the partners, whatever the case might be, if there's a willingness to have some conversation and to do some exploring of what people's goals and objectives might be, And maybe do that in the context of a conversation with a communications expert, a psychologist, or someone that has some skills in working with families. That can be helpful. I've involved communications consultants both in the settling of estates and also in at the outset too, where we've had some situations where with parents who have been infirm and children who have been struggling for power in the context of the family relationship. And if there is a willingness on the part of the individual family members to take part in a conversation like this, that can go a long way, I think, because it gives people an opportunity to be heard. And I think that one of the challenges that we face, and one of the things that leads to a lot of conflict, is that individuals aren't feeling like they're having an opportunity for expression of their points of view, their concerns, their ideas. The power and the control, the struggle that will sometimes play itself out in a family setting like that, and I think that often they will go to a lawyer and say, well, I want to bring an action here. I want to have my day in court. I feel like I need to be heard. And often they feel that that's because they've seen that on TV or in the movies, that this is the way that we get justice. This is the way that we that we get things done. And sometimes that's not necessary at all. Sometimes it would be more helpful for the long-term relationships in the family if brothers and sisters, or whoever the different parties might be, could give a little time to each other to really try to listen to each other. But sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes the relationship is very broken down and becomes more challenging at that time. But I tend to be an optimist about these situations, and I tend to want to remind people that in the context of families, when your parents have died, the people that you have left are your siblings, and you have these shared memories, and they may not be wonderful memories. There may be some amazing memories that you have, but to be able to have that relationship with your sibling, it's a very important thing. And so I try to encourage people to act on the better angels of their nature, to try to have those conversations, and using other or engaging other professionals in assisting. That can be very helpful. Again, we have the concerns about the confidentiality and the attorney-client privilege, those types of rules that play themselves out. But generally, if people are willing to to waive that privilege, and in some instances they think it's worthwhile to do that, then they can have a conversation that's facilitated by an independent third party. And what is the lawyer's role there? Well, the lawyer is someone who's listening, who's perhaps bringing some ideas about creative solutions that might address the needs of all of the parties, rather than the strictly adversarial role. I want for my clients to feel that I have time for them, that I have time to listen to their problems, that I care about their concerns and their needs, and that we may be able to provide support for them. I'm also very quick to point out when I feel that we may not be able to help them with the concerns that they have. There may be some other places where they can get those needs addressed.